Welcome to Old New Borrow Blue, the Blue Room podcast that looks at the things we love about this thing of ours called Everton. Each episode, I speak to an Evertonian about the favourite former player, current player, player they'd love to have seen at Everton, and the favourite Evertonian or thing about Everton. Old New Borrow Blue. I'm joined this week by Ian, Toffee Mod on Twitter, and Bainesy to his mates. Is that because you've got a lethal left foot or an impeccable taste in music, or both?
I think it's down to my mod haircut, and when I first joined the group, we did our first game as a supporters club on the minibus down to go to we went to Bolton, got picked up, got on the bus. Everybody sang the hair and like Leighton Baines. I think this song is about you, so that's where it's come from, and it stuck. Oh, sorry, mate, that's my phone. I do apologise.
All right, well.
But yeah, that's where it's come from, and it's stuck since then.
I mean, there's worse nicknames to have, isn't there? Definitely, it's not a bad one. And also, that Leighton Baines song is probably, I think, one of the best Everton songs ever.
Oh, definitely. Whoever thought of that was great.
It's absolute genius, isn't it? Right, before we get on to your choices, I always do this to start with sort of asking people what the first game was or the first game you remember, because it might not be the same thing. Also, with you being from the Northeast as well, sort of ask you how you got into Everton. Was that anything to do with the first game you saw, or?
The first game I saw at Everton, this might sound mad, but it was a 0-0 draw against Bayern Munich. Everyone think, oh, you're an Everton fan because of the 3-1 game. But no, it was a 0-0 draw, just sitting watching as a kid, and then just got into it from there. And my first game...
That was the first leg, wasn't it, at the Olympic Stadium?
That was the first leg, 0-0 draw. I think he didn't put a scratch side out, but he didn't put like a... I think Howard went for the draw. But my first game, the story behind it was my mate's auntie and uncle had come up from Liverpool, and they'd asked us if I wanted to go. This was 1991.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Sunderland at Roker Park. So I'm in the away end. I'm about 3'5". And we scored. Sorry, we equalised. I think it was a deflected free kick, Graham Sharp, and just went mental. And I'd gone forward, and I banged my nose off the metal barrier, so I couldn't say anything. Had to be taken out, St John's ambulance taken up to the hospital. So that was me. That was my first game, taken to the hospital. No violence, like that. Just
that could have been enough to put anyone off, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember your first trip to Goodison? Was that any less eventful, or?
The first time at Goodison was 1993. One of the members of the group, Matthew, who lived in the same village as me, Everton fan. We went down to his grand's. Just left school, went down to his grand's, stayed for the week. So my first game was the Tuesday night game, Paul Rideout, Manchester City. I remember we won on the Saturday against Southampton, and then we beat Sheffield United, because we went to Sheffield United as well at Goodison. And it was Tony Cotty got a hat trick, and we
beat them 4-2.
Beat them 4-2.
Yeah.
Graham's debut, yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely. Lovely sunny day. I remember being in the streets end that day. It was great.
So it is. I remember me and my mate in the main stand, and at the final whistle, like, we're going to win the league. Then the next three games we got beat off Villa, Arsenal, and Newcastle all 1-0. So that great start just was out straight away.
The thing about that as well was, so I think we did go top, didn't we, that weekend?
We did.
And then Liverpool beat Swindon 5-0 on the Sunday, and then they went top, and then we just fell apart after that.
We just fell apart after that, totally.
It's always been the same, hasn't it? Hey, we're lucky. We're lucky that we just about got to see the good stuff, but we're a little bit too.
Yeah. Like, I remember the day we won the. Remember the day we won the title in '87? Just a kid then, and had my shirt on and playing football in the street and stuff like that. And magic times back then, and you think, where did it all go wrong, as you say?
That's a good question, isn't it? Well, we'll go back to those better times then for your old choice. So this is your favourite former player. A great choice, not one that anyone's chosen yet, and not one that people remember as fondly as I think he should do. So do you want to just tell us who your choice is?
He was a bit of a hero of mine, Gary Lineker, back in the day. All my school teachers used to call us Gary Lineker when I played football and stuff like that, because I used to think I was a bit of a centre forward, goal hanger and stuff like that. But just being a striker, and obviously he came to us, and I don't know whether you know the story about how he came to us. He didn't agree he let his contract run down with Leicester, and he went to a tribunal with I think it was Gordon Milne, I think was called the Leicester manager at the time, and Howard Kendall. So they obviously they tried Bruno just to say, right, two teams try and agree on the price. And apparently Howard Kendall just went in and says, we probably won't play him very much and whatever. He's just going to be a bit part player to try and get the price down.
Yeah.
And he got him for £800,000. And he said, Howard Kendall says, right, we're just going to stop off in the Sainsbury's, bottles of champagne. He said, look, I was never not going to play you. You're going to be my number one striker. I just said that so I could get like money. And remember, Lineker was telling, I think it was Tony Bellew's podcast or something like that on.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember just listening to him and just think like, how mad's that? He just thought, right, if I just say that, I can do that. But yeah, I remember back in the day, you didn't see that much because I think at that time, there was a television dispute, so you couldn't see any of the goals. So like later on in the season, I think
that rings a bell actually.
Charity Shield against United when we won 2-0. That's when he made his debut. And then I think there was nothing after that for a long time, and it was all down to like TV deals and money and things like that. But I mean, I remember United won the first 10 games off the bounce, and nobody got to see it. You had to actually go to the game, and then see it. But
it's crazy now, though, isn't it, to think of that, like the way football's on like every night of the week.
Oh, crazy, absolutely crazy. I mean, we came down was it last season, the season before, and had to stay over because it was when BT moved the game to a Sunday night. I think United were in the Europa League or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Did we get beat? It was Ronaldo scored 700 goals. It.
Oh yeah.
Iwobi scored cracking goal. We had it 1-0, and then we just thought that's 1-0. We've won now, and sat back, and then obviously, but just having to stay down on a Sunday night, getting trains back next day, and obviously there's been like delayed trains and things like that, and it's just they just don't think it was.
No, it has changed a lot, hasn't it? Just to go back to that Howard Kendall story, thinking about that, £800,000 for a striker was a lot of money, but he definitely got the price down there, didn't he? Because he could have gone.
Without a doubt,
100% should have gone for more than that.
Oh, without a doubt. And the thing about him going as well, and I've said this to people in the past, I don't know how much it would have been used in them days, but why didn't we get it put in his contract when he leaves Barcelona? We get first refusal.
Yeah,
he went to Spurs, scored a bag load of goals for Spurs, and that's
something that's always annoyed me as well, because Ian Rush went to Juventus around the same time.
Yeah.
They had a buyback clause and got him back.
Crazy, isn't it?
So it's just, I don't know, it's always a lack of foresight with Everton, isn't it? You never seem to get the things quite right.
I think that was Lineker's thinking at the time as well. I think United, Liverpool, and ourselves were in for them, but I don't think United were willing to pay that amount of money. Lineker thought, obviously, you got Rush at Liverpool, so you obviously went to Everton. But like I say, the goals that he scored for Spurs, we should have taken advantage of that without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he could have made a huge difference to that late '80s team. Yeah, but I'm just reading Pat Nevin's book at the minute, The Accidental Football, and he talks a lot about the sort of rift in the team between the old players basically, and the new ones that came in, like Stu McCall, Neil McDonald, Pat Nevin himself, things like that. And there was a big rift between the players. You think if Lineker would have signed, he may have been able to straddle that gap between the two, because he'd been there before, gone away and come back, and everything could have been so much different. We seem to say that about a lot of stuff, don't we?
So I was talking to Pat Nevin. Obviously, we was going down with the supporters. We were talking to him. He was at because we normally stop off at Killington Lake, and he was there. And I'm a bit of blue, and I brought up. Remember the derby? I think it was the derby before the 4-4. And got brought down in the box.
Yeah.
And I remember that part. He's like, he says, that was penalty, wasn't it? He says, oh, definitely. How do you remember that? I says, oh, because it was just so blatant. I remember.
You just don't forget these things.
Oh, even there was one, Mark Ward got pushed over by Gary Pallister in the 90, I think it was the 91, 92 season. And Mark Ward's running through and Pallister just like pushes him blatantly. I even showed to the lads and lasses on the bus, that is a penalty. He says, you're still bitter about that in 19. Yeah, of course I am.
It's always been the same with us, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Always. Yeah, why do you reckon then Gary Lineker doesn't get as much credit for his time at Everton because he scored, what, 40 odd goals, didn't he?
I
I
think,
think it was because the season ultimately ended
yeah,
in the worst failure you could possibly imagine as a Toffee.
I think it's because of that Oxford game. I think
Yeah.
the chances that he missed, and he said obviously that he didn't put his boots in the skip, and then he had chances, but he's a centre forward. He should be able to wear his slippers and put them in the back of the net. You know what I mean? But I can see it. I can see how that could put on his mind. But
That boots thing, was that when he got the Quasar deal? Were they the Quasar boots? Because I had a pair of them as a kid.
God, yes, I think back in the day, he used to wear like the Adidas, like the is it Adidas
Yeah.
One Day All or whatever, the what they all wear nowadays,
Yeah.
like the old fashioned boots. And I think he had to borrow somebody's boots, and I think he said they were too big for him or something like that.
Right. Because remember, he did get a boot deal with Quasar.
He did get crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and he hated them.
Aye.
Yeah.
Proper.
A bit like Alan Ball with his fumble boots.
Definitely.
Yeah, cracking choice, that. Really good choice. And I think anyone who saw him play will attest to the fact that he was a hell of a footballer, wasn't he?
Oh, he scored all kinds of goals. I mean, he said that he didn't have a great start. He went to like 6 games or something without a goal or something like that, and then he said he was getting shit in the echo and things like that for not scoring goals, and Andy Gray gone and things like that. And then I think he said he scored at Spurs away, and then he scored like the hat trick then 2 after that, so he ended up getting like 6 in 6, and then it just set him off. And he said he was telling the story how he on his debut, and he ranked the they do the teams before the game.
Yeah.
Number 7, Trevor Stephen. Number 8, Gary Lineker. And he said there was a few applause, and he said there was some boos as well. You're thinking, hold on, I'll make me debut here, £800,000, and you're booing us. I haven't kicked the ball yet.
Yeah. Never change, Everton. Never ever change. Do you reckon that was to do with Andy Gray getting sold then?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, huge favourite. Like,
he was going to be
stuff.
He was going to be me pick before Lineker, and I thought, it is. Obviously, I liked Andy Gray as well, but Lineker was me main one as a hero, as a young lad.
Yeah, he was definitely something else, especially when you were like our age as a kid watching.
Oh, definitely.
We'll move on to like a modern day hero now then.
Yeah.
So this is your favourite current player or new. Been picked before, made no secret of the fact that this will be my pick as well. So,
and the fact that his mum and dad live in the next village from where I live in Washington, so his mum and dad live in the next village.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, class.
So that's he goes to the same Chinese as I do, just on the road as well. He's been in a couple of times apparently, but he just epitomises Everton. Everything about him, his attitude on the pitch, we'd put it this way, we'd be relegated without him.
Yeah. We'd easily be down without Jordan Pickford. Yeah.
Without. I mean, that for me, one of the greatest saves I've ever seen was that one against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Still don't know whether he touched it onto the post, the first one, but that's the follow-up save from Aspilicueta. Unbelievable.
That's it. To get right across from that post, to get up and get across to save it was just ridiculous. So, where do you sit in the ground?
Top balcony.
No, right, okay. Towards the park end. So you got a good view of it then from the
I'm near the Gladys Street, right on the 18-yard area of the Gladys Street. So if my seat was one way that way, I'd have a restricted view. But where I sit, it's just perfect on this.
Nice. So you got a cracking view of that then. And that's it. If that had gone in.
With that. If you remember rightly, I think that weekend, I think Burnley beat Watford away, and that put us 5 points adrift.
Yes.
I think we had 2 games in hand. So I think that was I think the Chelsea game was the first game for the bus welcomes, and it was a case of if we lost that, we were down, and obviously Richie scored and threw the flare and things like that, and it was just.
Yeah, but he's been at the club for 8 years now.
Yeah.
Obviously had his ups and downs. I was talking to Dave actually, I think on the weekly this week about Pickford, and saying, people sort of say, oh, there's no characters in football anymore. Not, it's all been taken out. They're just robots. They just pass. There's no flair. There's no characters. Here you've got a goalkeeper who is a character.
Yeah. You were saying putting his tongue out, and everyone said, oh, he's a character. Everybody loves that. Jordan Pickford doesn't hang him.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird, isn't it? It's so strange. And we've got this thing now where people are saying, oh, well, he's got England form, he's got Everton form. It's like He's had Everton form for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And although he did have a bit of a ropey start, well, not a ropey start, he did make a few mistakes, but
Yeah.
he was a very, very young goalkeeper. And, it's gonna happen. And he's just matured into just, if it wasn't for Southall, he'd be the best keeper I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, without a doubt. And he just doesn't get that sort of, I was going to say adoration, but respect from other fans. He gets adoration from us.
Oh yeah.
He just doesn't get that respect from anyone else, does he?
There's too many people, whether it be Newcastle, Sunderland, up here, the Newcastle fans hate him, despise him. I mean, how many, you're getting Newcastle fans, men dressing up as dinosaurs and
it's a bit much, isn't
it? Do every season now because he was outstanding that season at St James's Park. But it's like people want him to make mistakes so they can get on his back.
Yeah.
You can say get Pope in, get Ramsdale in, get Trafford in. Like he's never made a mistake for England, like a proper clanger. So no. If it's not broken, why fix it?
And yeah, and as you say, he's just a perfect Everton player, isn't he? He's just everything about him is just what we love.
Yeah.
He's just sort of he does, yeah, he kind of epitomises what I love about Everton at the minute in a player. He just embodies everything for me.
King of the shithouse, really.
Yeah, what's that?
King of the shithouse, really, isn't he?
He is, isn't he? He loves a wind up, and he's just dead good. I mean, people like have a go at his kicking and stuff now. His kicking's not bad. He does get a bit erratic with it sometimes.
Yeah.
But
well, that was Shearer in the Euros saying, "Oh, what's he kicking for?" Like, hold on. Obviously, the managers told him, "Look at knock it long." To Kane or whoever, like Tony or who was in front at the time. So if he's just following orders from the manager,
Yeah, it does come from the manager. I remember one frustrating time in the last couple of seasons whereby he'd end up it kind of stopped the think when Dice came in, but he'd sort of end up sort of in between the halfway line in the area, kind of dictating play. And he was sort of like the centre backs would knock it back to him, and he'd be expected to pick the pass out to put the forwards in. It was like he's capable of it. I reckon he'd be a really good midfielder, to be honest. But
you saw it when he
goalie doing that.
When you put Damari Gray in against Forest when we got the equaliser the last 5 minutes, that little dink over, and I mean Damari could have taken a touch and bury it,
Yeah.
He's like a pantomime hero, isn't he? And villain, sorry, and people just want him to. They want him to fail, basically.
Yeah.
Just so they can just say, we told you.
And we just want him to stay forever.
Yeah. I thought if money was going to be tight this season, I thought, and he had a good Euros, which he has. I thought, come in from, and that would be if he did go, I think he'd go without blessing because obviously what he's done for us and things like that. But I'd hate to see him go.
Oh, it'd be horrible. Yeah, it will. As you say, if he went on, to another club and won something, it'd be made up for him. But it would be horrible to see him anywhere else.
Definitely.
Right, we'll move on then to your borrowed player. So we changed the rules on this for anyone who didn't hear the last episode. Basically, what this used to be was your favourite loan player, but too many people were saying Manny Fernandez, and I realised there weren't actually that many loan players you could pick from. So this is basically now any player you'd have loved to have seen turn out for the Toffees. So, Baines, who have you gone with?
Well, I've gone with Marco van Basten.
Great player.
Just his goals, and he's just his all-round player. He could, he could link the play. He's good in the air, finishing, tap-ins, 25-yarders. And I just think around that time, when we lost Lineker, having somebody like that in that side, I mean, I know we won the league when Lineker left.
Yeah.
Carry on through there, could you imagine like having, I know this might sound a bit bad, but Marco van Basten and Adrian Heath up front as well, just like the...
Oh, it would have been unreal.
Him winning and Inchy knocking it in, but I just another outstanding player whose career, I think he had to retire, and he's still in his 20s.
Yeah, it was. So he basically was one of the reasons that the tackle from behind got outlawed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he was a player who suffered badly from it, as you say. He had to retire early because of his injuries and sort of because of what he'd been through. And I think other players, but notably him, that's why tackles from behind were sort of outlawed.
I think he got an ankle injury, and I read something. Remember the football magazine, 90 Minutes?
I remember that. I used to love that.
He did an interview in there, and I think he blamed his surgeon or something like that. I don't know what whether it was he did something wrong, like in an operation or whatever, but just world class. And I mean world class. You talk about the likes of Messi, Maradona, and people like that, and I would put him in with that.
He's not spoken about in the same way, maybe because he did retire early. But don't forget he was, he was part of one of the best AC Milan teams ever, part of probably the best Netherlands team ever.
Yeah. I mean that's still one of the greatest goals ever. That
the European Championships one.
I mean, Murin puts it in, and he doesn't even think about it, does he? He just hits it. And, like, I think the goalkeeper's still looking for it now.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, that's it.
Like that one.
You're not expecting that at all, are you? You're expecting him to dink it back across. The angle's impossible.
That to be the. I mean, I think they won 2-0, but that to be the winning goal to confirm it.
Yeah.
That's it. You should just retire then. I've done that goal. I've got my trophy. I'm away.
Yeah, you're not going up from that, are you?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I was just doing a bit of reading up on him beforehand, and it's a few years ago. He was FIFA's technical director. I don't know if he still is, but he wants to get rid of offside and yellow cards.
Class.
So I mean, I quite like that. Just goal line and just a free for all, basically. Just trying to think. So, changing penalty shootouts to a system which sees players dribble towards goal before trying to score, and doing away with yellow cards for a sin bin instead. I mean, it could work.
Yeah.
Basically, it could do. It might be carnage, but
what is that dribbling towards the goal? It's a bit like ice hockey, in it, when you got to take it down and you pick your players.
Yeah. Well, he did it in MLS, didn't he? When MLS first started, he had that, and there's some wild footage of that of people just run towards the keeper and the keeper just legging it out towards them. Yeah, I just think, would that work? Yeah, no yellow cards and you get sin bins. You could end up with like 6 aside and no offside. That would be carnage. I'd love it. I'm all for that.
27-25 or something like that. Like a basketball score, wouldn't
it? Yeah, bring it on, I say. Yeah, so no offside, he said. Without offside, strikers could be behind the defenders, which would be much more difficult. If they move far back in front of their goal, the attacker will have more opportunities for distant shots. So basically, he's saying just lash it from anywhere.
Just do it. Just have a goal.
Yeah. I can imagine how many goals he'd have scored if that had been the case.
Some of the goals he scored for Ajax as well.
Yeah. He was an incredible player for Ajax. Wasn't there for about the early 80s. He was at Ajax, wasn't he?
Did he come through their system? I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah. So that's where he started, I think. Let's have a look. So youth career, he was at Utrecht.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to Ajax in 81. There till 87. Then 87 to 95 at Milan. 91, 90, God, 100, for Ajax, he scored 127 goals in 132 games.
Rubbish. He's pathetic, isn't he?
That's ridiculous.
That's striker, that is. God, unbelievable. How much would he be?
91 and 147 in Milan. I mean, it's sad that he only got 147 games in that time. But
you couldn't put a price on it, how could you?
No, you couldn't. No. That's it. Him and Adrian Heath up front. Yeah.
that should be the picture on the.
Do you know what? In a parallel universe, I hope that's happened, because that would be incredible. Right, we'll move on then to your final choice. This is the blue choice. So this is your favourite Evertonian or your favourite thing about Everton. And who have you gone for?
I've got 2, if that's all right.
Go for it, man. Yeah, it's your show. Go.
Andy Burnham.
Yeah. Just
because he's a big blue and Evertonian, just everybody who's in our North East supporters group, because we've got an absolutely cracking bunch of people. Rachel, who runs it, she's our secretary, and then you've got John Brettle, our chairman, and just the lads and lasses that come down with us. It's absolutely great. We've been doing it since Rachel started in 2008. Her and John, they would drive over and join with the Cumberland lot, and they would go down there. Story about that. Okay, you've got time?
Yeah.
It's basically part of the ritual what we do when we go to the games. We were coming back. There was one game with the Cumberland lot, and they take like a 52 seater or something. They've got quite a few going down, and I'd had a few that day, and I like a bit of Neil Diamond. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but I like the album, The Jazz Singer.
Yeah.
And, one of the lads, I think it was AJ, said, do you fancy, I dare you to go down and sing Love on the Rocks on the bus microphone? Like, would you? Like, aye. So I went down, sang Love on the Rocks, everybody clapping. So now it's tradition on the minibus. When we come back, win, lose or draw, I've got to sing Love on the Rocks.
Tell you what, that might
No matter how many bevies I've had or whatever during the game or whatever, but
so even if so, like let's say you're coming back from the Watford game, we've just been smashed 5-2 in the last 10 minutes, still got to sing it.
I'd missed that game. I had COVID.
There's not many times when you'd be glad to have COVID, but I reckon that was probably one of them.
What it is, I missed that game, and I remember lying in bed watching Soccer Saturday, and is it Chris? What do you call Chris Collins? Not Chris Collins. Chris
Kamara.
No, the other one who does it, the Scottish lad.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, he was doing our game, and he just absolutely battered us with our Everton's this, Everton's that. Everton. It was under Benitez as well, so
yeah.
But yeah, the Andy Burnham thing, just basically what he's done. I mean, is me personally, I think he should be Prime Minister.
Oh, I'm all for that, definitely.
Without a doubt. I mean, he lost the leadership to I think was it Jeremy Corbyn he lost it to when they had the Labour a few years ago, and I think he lost it, and obviously Corbyn got in and stuff like that. But just what he thinks of Everton, what he's tried to do for Everton, and obviously what he did at for the Hillsborough.
Yeah, and I think from a political stand as well, what he's done for Manchester.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
He's a really, really good metro mayor. He's taken all the public transport into public ownership again. And it's just he's done really good things for that city, and you think he would make a great prime minister. That's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah,
now Labour are in, just get him in.
What he did during COVID as well, I think he pushed to get
yes,
more.
He did.
And then I think he pushed to get them out of tier 4 into tier 3 and things like that. Because obviously, I think yourselves, you could have gone to the game, you would have been in the ballot, but we were up here, we were still in tier 4, so obviously we couldn't get to any of the games down there. One of the biggest regrets for me as an Evertonian is not getting to see James Rodriguez.
Oh, same. I think there's only a handful of people who got to see him in the flesh, wasn't there, when we played United pre-season, I think.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's just, yeah, it really does. When he was back in the news, well, back on Twitter, wasn't he, the other day with his Copa America performances.
Yeah.
And like seeing some of the stuff he's done and then thinking back and just watching back some of the stuff he did for us. To see him in the flesh playing for the Toffees would have been incredible.
That ball he put through for Richie in the derby.
Yeah.
He didn't even think about it, did he? I mean, and he had that start as well. I think he got a cracker against, I think it was West Brom, and then he got a couple in
against Brighton. Yeah.
At the Gladys Street, and it's like, I mean, I think we were second or third at Christmas that season. You think,
Boxing Day was second.
We can do something, hey, Champions League. You're thinking about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, hold on, it's 5-0. Carlo doesn't get on the bus going back to the Etihad, so something's happened there. Do you think Carlo's just gone, I've had enough? You've got to get the bus. I'll walk.
Yeah. Oh, it was horrible the way that fell apart, wasn't it? When you think like where we were second on Boxing Day, we had that team, we had Carlo Ancelotti. It was like, oh my god, this is incredible. And then we finished 9th.
Well, you've got to think as well that we had more away wins that season than we did the last time we won the title.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some crazy stats flying around, weren't there, from that season? It was mad. But at home,
we even beat Arsenal.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, it went through keeper's legs, didn't it?
Was it Leno's legs it went through? And it was a Friday night game, because I remember they were all protesting about the was it the Super League? It was around that. I think the Arsenal fans were outside the ground, and Chelsea were doing it there. But I think it was an awful game, and I was over mates watching it. We won 1-0.
It was a shock, and even the goal was terrible. You kind of think if Andy Burnham did get in, I think he'd be good for football as well. We were talking just before we started recording about the stuff me and Dave were talking about the share prices. I'm worried about the season ticket prices coming up for the new ground. And you kind of think, like, if we do get someone in Prime Minister who's a football fan like Burnham, there could be some good things done for us there.
If he got in, the Premier League be shitting themselves, because they don't want this. They want this staying in their hands and not taken out of their hands. Masters is, he obviously knows nothing about football.
Yeah.
If he did, and if he was a supporter, he wouldn't have done what he's done because of the pain that it's put us through.
Yeah, he's just one of these fellas who bounces around from CEO position to CEO position. Yeah. He could be CEO at I don't know, the post office. Then he could be at like Littlewoods. He could, he's one of those people who just bounces around. No real, yeah.
Shows the paycheck, and I'm all right.
That's it. That's exactly it. Cheers for that, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it.
Really good choices. Just want to give you your supporters club another shout out.
We on all formats. The North East branch of Everton supporters. We the official supporters club as well. So anybody wants to get in touch with us, we on obviously Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well.
Yeah. So anyone from the North East wants to get down to us and give you a shout.
Yeah, give us a shout. I think there'll be like an application form to fill in and things like that. We've got well over 100 members, but we have, I think there's 16 or 18. But the more that we get, the more chance we've got of putting a bigger bus on and things like that. So yeah.
Good stuff. I've just quickly before we go, I've always thought that about like so obviously living like 8 miles from the ground, it's sort of everyone here who's local just has the little match day routine, 3, 4, 5 of them go to the game. It must be good crack where there's like 50 of yous every game must seem like a bit of an event. 50 of us getting a coach all going down.
I know there's only 16 of us on the minibus. That was
okay, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so there's normally 6 of us go down. Like I say, we have a big crack on the way down, and a bit of a sing song on the way back, and a few tunes on and stuff like that. So basically, my days, my missus drops it off at Washington Services. We normally get down to the Black Horse on Walton Road. That's how we normally think in there. That's where you're seeing the picture with Derek Mountfield. We were just in the vehicle in there.
Yeah.
And then we might pop in and have one at the Winslow before we go on the ground. So I can leave the house at 8:15 on a Saturday morning or Sunday, whenever the game is, and normally get back in the house about 9:15 on a Saturday night. So, and then listen to yourselves.
It puts it all in perspective for us that when you're putting that in to see the Toffees. And
it does sound good when you're in the Denby, like.
Oh yeah, the Denby's good. You have to pop down to Denby next season. I'll pop in the course as well.
Yeah, we'll do, mate. Nice one.
Good stuff. Cheers for that, appreciate that. That was this week's All New Borough Blue. If you do want to be part of the show, just leave a comment on YouTube or get in touch with me at LedRobert77 on Twitter. We'll be back next time with another guest up the Toffees.